Welcome to Reformed Thinking. Today, we're jumping into something really interesting from C.S. Lewis, what Christians actually mean by love, or what the Bible often calls charity. It's a word we hear all the time, right? But Lewis makes a pretty strong case that we've kind of lost its original, much bigger meaning.
So let's just start right there. When I say the word charity, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, I bet it's something pretty specific. And that's exactly Lewis's first point. The huge, sweeping idea of charity has been shrunk down to mean just one thing: giving money to the poor. Now, don't get me wrong, giving alms is a good thing, a part of charity for sure, but Lewis says it's only one small piece of a much larger puzzle. It's kind of like defining all music as guitars, just because guitars are in a lot of songs. Okay, so let's switch gears for a second. What about the word love, specifically Christian love? What do we usually think that is? Again, our minds go straight to our emotions. We think of love as that spontaneous, warm, fuzzy feeling we get for someone. You either have it or you don't, right? But according to Lewis, if that's our definition, we're missing the point of biblical love by a country mile. And this is where Lewis really helps us out. He kind of course corrects our modern thinking and pulls us back to the classic Christian understanding of charity. And spoiler alert, it's not about what you feel, it's about what you decide. Okay, this right here is the heart of it all. Charity in the Christian sense is not a feeling. It is a state of the will. It's a choice you make, a direction you set your mind in, and it's totally separate from the roller coaster of our day-to-day emotions. So let's really break this down. This chart lays it out perfectly. On the left, you have affection, or just plain liking someone. Lewis says this is just a feeling. It's part of your personality, your temperament. You just naturally click with some people and not others. It's not a moral issue, it just is. But charity, or Christian love, is a whole different animal. It's an action, it's a state of the will. And here's the kicker. It's a learned virtue and a Christian duty. Its whole goal is simply to want what's really, truly good for another person. So if charity is a choice, a function of the will, how does that actually change how we deal with people every day? I mean, especially the people we don't naturally like. Lewis's advice here is so practical, it's almost blunt. He basically tells us to stop taking our own emotional temperature all the time. Stop worrying about whether you have the right feeling for your neighbor. Instead, just act like you do. The action has to come first. And what's so great about this is how simple it is. The steps are crystal clear. 1, don't sit around waiting for some magical feeling to wash over you. 2, ask yourself a really practical question. If I actually loved this person, what would I be doing for them right now? And 3, the most important part, go and do that thing. The entire focus shifts from what's going on inside your head to what you're doing with your hands and feet. Well, this naturally leads to the next big question, doesn't it? Does this same idea, this focus on the will, on action, also apply to how we love God? And this is such a common struggle for Christians. We're told we ought to love God, but when we look inside, we don't always feel this constant, warm, affectionate feeling. And that can lead to a ton of guilt and anxiety, thinking we're doing something wrong. And Lewis's advice here is perfectly consistent. He applies the exact same logic. Don't sit there trying to force yourself to feel something, just act. Ask yourself, if I were totally sure that I loved God, what would I be doing? And then just go and do it. So the main point is this: God is primarily concerned with our will. When we are actively trying to do His will, we are obeying the command to love Him. Lewis reminds us that feelings come and go. Nobody can feel super devout 24/7. And when those feelings of love for God do show up, they are a wonderful gift from Him. They're not something we can manufacture on our own. Our job is obedience. Okay, so if we follow this advice, if we really focus on our actions, what happens? What's the result of behaving charitably even when we don't feel like it? Well, this leads to what Lewis calls a great spiritual law. Now, this is a huge statement. Lewis is telling us that our small, daily actions are not just isolated little events. They compound. They build on each other over time, like interest in a bank account, leading to massive growth in one direction or the other, towards good or towards evil. And this shows us the positive side of that law. This is the big secret Lewis is sharing. When you start behaving as if you love someone, maybe doing a small kindness for them, something incredible starts to happen. You'll actually find you dislike them less. Over time, acting out of charity can lead to genuine affection. Your will actually begins to train your emotions. But, and this is a serious warning, the law works in the other direction too. If you hurt someone you already dislike, you will find yourself disliking them even more. Cruelty breeds hatred, and that hatred then breeds even more cruelty. It's a dangerous downward spiral that also gains momentum over time. So, the conclusion here is pretty stark. The small choices we make every single day, a little act of kindness, a moment of patience, or a spiteful comment, they aren't trivial. They have enormous consequences because they are setting the entire trajectory of our character.
And this leaves us with a real challenge. Lewis describes every small good act as capturing a strategic point, like in a battle, from which you can win future victories. So as you go about your day today, think about this. What ground are your actions gaining? What little decisions are you making that, by this law of compound interest, are shaping you into the person you are becoming?